Hello everyone, this is part 4 of What If Naruto was trained by Anko, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to share, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Join my membership, the perks are great. It's in the description. Be sure to like and subscribe, it gives me more motivation. Enjoy. When Anko got back from her first report, she found Naruto eating some fish for dinner. He quickly took out some more fish and prepared them so she could have dinner as well. Anko didn't need to be told twice and she gratefully accepted the meal. Over the meal she told him about her day and about everything that happened. When she gave him the scrolls and books that she received from Hideki, he almost started reading right there and then. But then she gave him the book on sealing and told him the message the Hokage had given her. This book was written by Yondaime. Really? Naruto stammered after a full minute of silence. Anko had been curious who Naruto's hero was and now she knew. It wasn't surprising after all, the Yondaime was said to be one of the greatest shinobi ever lived. She quickly nodded and smiled when he pressed the book to his chest as if it was the greatest treasure in the world. To him it probably was. Since she had traveled quite some distance today, she wished him good night and told him that he had the morning off from training so they could discuss the training schedule for the next month. Naruto wished her good night and thanked her again for everything she had done for him. He spent some time reading in Yondaime book and went to sleep soon after reading the first chapter. When he awoke the next morning, he found himself alone in the cave. He quickly got dressed and went outside looking for his sensei. He found her sitting in the clearing furiously scribbling some notes down on a piece of paper. He quietly sat next to her so he wouldn't disturb her while working. He started on making breakfast knowing that she would stop writing as soon as she smelled breakfast. Anko was trying to figure out a way to maximize the amount of training Naruto could do this month. Not an easy task at 7 a.m. in the morning. She wrote something down, but soon after that she would find something new and then she would have to start over again. It was driving her nuts. Suddenly she smelled breakfast and her stomach told her it was time to stop writing and start eating. She looked over at Naruto and saw him smiling while holding a plate for her. Naruto has changed so much this past month. He's really something else, she told herself. They ate their breakfast in silence like they did every morning. It took Naruto 2 days to figure out that Anko liked to spend the early morning, at least until after breakfast, in silence. He came to enjoy a silent breakfast soon after that. It was a time where he could think about the day that was to come. Alright Gaki, we have to figure out your new training schedule. I've been going over some things but I can't seem to find a healthy balance. Help me out here, will you? Now I think that you could spend 1 hour every day practicing chakra control, then we have some sparring matches until lunch. After lunch we could spend some time working on speed and strength training. Or we could work on your ninjutsu training. What do you think? Anko said, trying to get Naruto to help. What about this? In the morning I make a few dozen clones like always and tell them to practice chakra control and taijutsu, while the clones do that, you and I work on sparring, speed and strength exercises. After lunch we could either work on ninjutsu or theoretical stuff. We could alternate the afternoon program each day. Sounds good, Naruto said. Anko thought about it and agreed that this was a good idea. Having a full afternoon time on one subject would allow her to go slowly when Naruto had trouble, and it would allow their muscles to relax and adjust. She liked the idea of having some kind of diversity while teaching. So they quickly agreed that they would follow Naruto's schedule for the next month. They decided to start in the afternoon with theoretical lessons since she still felt a little tired from the day before. Naruto told her that was fine, and since they had the morning off he took out his book on sealing and started reading while Anko went back to bed. The next day Naruto did his morning exercises, but when he was about to make a few dozen clones, Anko told him that she had a new exercise in mind. She got the idea some days before about how medical shinobi had to have really good chakra control. They were able to make chakra scalpels with their chakra. A chakra scalpel was made by focusing an amount of chakra to the tip of the finger and manipulation it in such a way that it would become as sharp as a knife. The more she thought about it, the more sure she became that it would be a really good exercise for Naruto. She quickly explained what she had in mind, and Naruto made his clones and told them to get started. While the clones were busy, the two of them started on having a light spar before working on speed and strength training. Several days later, one of his clones had a small success in creating what seemed to be an incomplete chakra scalpel. The clone had succeeded in sharpening the chakra into a somewhat sharp knife. After that small success, he quickly managed to recreate what the clone had done, and he was on his way to make a fully completed chakra scalpel. His other training started good as well. He was becoming more and more adept at using both taekwondo and aikido, and gave Anko a run for her money when they had sparring matches. The ninjutsu training was lots of fun as well. Anko had taught him several kaiten jutsus and 3 variations on the Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. He remembered those lessons well. Flashback. Alright Gaki, I've got 3 variations of Kage Bunshin no Jutsu for you to learn. They're named Shuriken Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, Kunai Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, and Bakuratsu Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. The first 2 make not clones of yourself but of your kunai or shuriken. I'm sure you can see the advantage of that. The third one makes clones just like the normal Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, but it allows you to let the clone explode, taking your enemy with them. Anko explained. Naruto was practically bouncing up and down hearing about these very cool jutsus. He couldn't wait to get started with the training. When he wanted to make some clones to help him in mastering the jutsu, Anko stopped him. No Naruto, no clones in the beginning. I want you to learn them first on your own. After you're able to do them well enough, you can master them by using Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. I don't want you to rely on that jutsu all the time. Anko ordered Naruto. Naruto didn't get why he couldn't use the Kage Bunshin no Jutsu to learn the new jutsu. But if he was honest with himself, he realized he depended too much on the Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, so he nodded and started learning the Kunai Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. In the end, it took him about 2 days per jutsu to be able to do them good enough before Anko allowed him to use the Kage Bunshin no Jutsu to finish mastering them. But he felt really good about himself for not using Kage Bunshin no Jutsu to learn them, and he decided to always learn a new jutsu on his own, and only when he was able to do it well enough would he finish mastering it with Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. End flashback. Halfway through the month, Naruto had a breakthrough in his experiments with seals. He had been trying to create his own storage scroll, but it proved to be harder than it looked. The necessary seals that had to be placed on the scroll were much more complicated than he anticipated, but he didn't give up. Naruto didn't know the words, giving up, and kept trying, with Anko encouraging him every step of the way. His success came when he tried for the 100th time to create a storage scroll. By not paying attention for a small moment, he applied 2 necessary seals in what he thought was the wrong order. The result was a fully working storage scroll that he created on his own. It was the first time he had succeeded in creating a working scroll, so understandably he was very proud and couldn't stop smiling for 2 days after. Or it could be because Anko had given him a big hug and a small kiss on his cheek as a way to congratulate him. Naruto had blushed up a storm, and Anko hadn't stopped teasing him about it for days. The next part in the book he received from Yondaime was creating a sort of gravity seal that would allow him to put it on his chest. This seal would make his body twice as heavy as he normally was. The advantage of this seal was that, unlike normal weights, which were rarely used anymore according to Anko, this seal would affect every muscle in his body. This would result in a much more completed training. Naruto was immediately interested. It didn't help that Yondaime had written in the margin that he personally used this seal when he was young. Anko said that until she was absolutely sure that he could do it without risking anything, she wouldn't allow him to put it on his body. She would also talk about it with Sandaime Hokage, and only if he said that the seal was safe she would allow him to apply it on his body. Naruto, who didn't had anyone worrying about him before like this, was touched that Anko cared so much about him, and since he couldn't do the seal yet anyway, it didn't matter. Now 2 days before Anko had to report on Naruto's progress, he called her aside. He had finished a little side project of his. He had been trying to design his own weapon for some time now, and he had decided to start small and make some throwing knives. While kunai were very useful and a lot of shinobi used them as a throwing weapons, the fact remained that kunai were not designed for this purpose. Kunai were designed to use as a sabbing and cutting weapon. Wanting a specially designed throwing knife, he had sat down, made some sketches of how he wanted them to look and started practicing on forging them out of the scrap metal he had gotten from Hideki-san. After trying several times he got them just right. He decided to make an extra 3 sets of 3 throwing knives for Anko, his Ji-chan and Hideki-san. Anko, surprised at Naruto's actions, seeing he was kind of nervous about something, went over to him and asked if something was wrong. Naruto, who was sweating bullets, assured her everything was fine and told her he had made something for her. After saying that, he held out a small package and told her to open it. When she opened it, Anko couldn't believe her eyes. Inside were 3 beautifully shaped knives. She sat down and took one of the knife in her hand to take a closer look at it. The knife was about 8-inch long, handle included. They were long in shape and double-edged. The handle was just long enough to fit right in her hand, allowing her to hold it very comfortably. The knife looked incredibly sharp and very easy to use. Naruto, who had been watching her examine the knife, couldn't help but worry that she didn't like it. He really hoped she liked them. It was his way to say thank you for everything she had done for him over the past 2 months. Naruto, I don't know what to say. These are incredible. How did you manage to make such fantastic weapons? I didn't even see you practice forging them. Anko said while looking back and forth between the knives and Naruto. Well, I knew that kunai aren't really meant to be throwing weapons, so I wanted to make my own. So I designed them myself and started making them from the scrap metal I got from Hideki-san. When I knew I could make them perfectly, I forged them out of that high-quality metal as a present for you. I also made a set for Ji-chan and Hideki-san. Do you like them? It's okay if you don't, I understand. Naruto said shyly. Like them? Naruto, I love them. Thank you so much for this wonderful present. I will treasure them for the rest of my life. I can't believe you did that for me. Anko truthfully said with a tear in each eye. And to prove how grateful she really was, she grabbed him in a big hug and gave him a kiss on each cheek. Naruto felt a huge weight drop off his shoulders when she told him that she loved her present. Then he got hugged and kissed again, and he started blushing like crazy. He told her that it was nothing and that it was a way to thank her for everything she had done for him. Though he thought that he could never repay her for the past 2 months. They had spent the rest of the day throwing the knives for practice, and Anko had to say that they were without a doubt much more comfortable and easier to throw than kunai. She was amazed at Naruto's ability to forge such a flawless weapon. She was sure that Sandaime, Hokage and Hideki would say the same thing. Naruto got a little flushed when she told him that. The night before she had to leave for her report, she asked Naruto if there was anything he needed from the library. Naruto, who still finished his book on sealing and still had to start on the books for jutsu making, told her he was fine for now. He wanted to concentrate on the things he had at hand before moving on to other subjects. But he remembered a lesson where Anko had told him about chakra affinities and that you could see what kind of affinity you had by using a special piece of paper, so he asked if she could get him one of those. He was kind of curious to know what his affinity was. Anko promised him to bring him back such a paper and prepared her backpack carefully, putting Naruto's presents inside. She wondered how they would react. When she woke up the next morning, Naruto was already outside preparing breakfast for both of them. She went outside and greeted him with a small smile and sat down to start eating breakfast. She was grateful that he had prepared breakfast for her because she would have to travel back to the village today for her report. After eating, she cleared the dishes and got ready to leave. Waving goodbye, she told him she would be back before nightfall and that he better had trained while she was away or there would be trouble. Naruto laughed and asked her to say hello to everybody for him. Nodding, she left towards the exit of the forest. When she arrived, she once again made straight for the Hokage Tower and marched straight to the Hokage's office. Knocking, she heard Sandaime give his permission to enter. Good morning, Hokage-sama, I'm here for my monthly report, she said, saluting the Hokage since she was in a playful mood. The Hokage smiled and wished her a good morning as well. Telling her to sit down, he waited for her to start her report. But before she started, she opened her backpack and gave him a small package. It's a present from Naruto. To thank you for everything you have done for him, Anko said, smiling. Sarutobi carefully opened the package, not knowing what it could be. He slowly took one of the 3 knives in his hand and USD very closely. He could see that they were made with precision and great care. He thought they were beautiful, almost a work of art not meant to be used in battle. He looked at Anko asking her to explain. When he heard that Naruto had forged these throwing knives for him, he could help but feel happy and honored. She also told him that he had made a set for her and Hideki as well. That boy, how does he manage to surprise me time and time again? Sandaime wondered out loud. Like last time, Anko gave a detailed overview of Naruto's progress. How he had succeeded in making his own storage scroll, how he had mastered the chakra scalpel exercise and the jutsus he had learned. She also told him about the gravity seal that Naruto wanted to try. She asked him about the dangers of such a seal. Sandaime quickly reassured her that if Yondaime had used the seal, it was perfectly safe to use. He completed the chakra scalpel exercise. That's amazing for someone with his amount of chakra. He must have worked very hard to achieve such a feat. How is his taijutsu going? Asked Sarutobi. Anko explained that Naruto practiced for days to no end to complete the chakra scalpel exercise, but once again when he made his first small breakthrough, it didn't take long to finish it. She also told him that his taijutsu was getting very hard to beat thanks to his speed and strength training. Also the fact that his stamina was greater than hers, so couldn't underestimate him anymore. He was getting strong very fast in her opinion. She also told him that while he hadn't started on making his own jutsus yet, she believed it was only a matter of time. Anko, how strong do you think Naruto is now, and how strong do you think he will be after the full 6 months? Please give an honest reply. This is important because it relates to a promise I made. Sarutobi said in a very serious voice. Anko, who hadn't expected such a question, kept silent for a full minute, thinking how she would make an honest assessment of Naruto's strength and level. After thinking about it, she told the Sandaime Hokage that she believed Naruto to be between high Genin and low Chunin as of this moment. She gave him this level because although Naruto got very good at taijutsu and chakra control, he still had a number of skill he had to improve or acquire. She predicted that by the end of the 6 months Naruto would at least be between mid-level and high-level Chunin. Of course she was a bit biased being his sensei, but she believed that if anyone could achieve this it would be Naruto. Sarutobi nodded, satisfied with Anko's honest reply, and opened a drawer from his desk. The drawer had a special seal on it which only allowed himself to open it. Thanks to a seal that recognized a person's chakra signature, only the owner could access the drawer. He pulled out a scroll, placed it on his desk, and once again undid a seal that would allow somebody else to read it. This wasn't the only seal on the scroll though, it had several safety seals that would protect the contents that it held. Sarutobi looked at the scroll with a look of sadness and regret on his face before telling Anko that this scroll was now Naruto's. He didn't know what was written inside, but he had promised Yondaime that when Naruto would have reached Chunin level he would give the scroll to him. Yondaime said that only Naruto would be able to open it thanks to a blood seal. Naruto would have put some of his blood on the seal which would allow him to open it. There was another seal on the scroll that would judge Naruto's chakra level to see if he was strong enough to read the scroll. When the scroll judged him ready, he would be able to read it. Sarutobi asked Anko that when she returned tonight she would give the scroll to him. He also asked that she would support Naruto when he would read it, because if he guessed right the contents of the scroll would be a huge shock to him. Anko quickly promised to help Naruto in every way possible to make sure he would be alright. That being said, Sarutobi dismissed her and told her that he would wait with a heavy heart for her next report. He also told her that Hideki wanted to see her, though he hadn't said about what. 5 minutes later Anko was on her way to Hideki's shop, wondering what the old man wanted from her. Maybe he had a gift for her or Naruto. Arriving at the store she wasted no time and went inside. Hello Hideki-san, you asked to see me and here I am. What can I do for you? She said with a playful voice. Ah, Anko-san, just the person I wanted to see. And right on time as well. Excellent, Hideki said. After some small talk Hideki got right to business. He told her that he had managed to buy a significant amount of high-quality metal from a retiring weapon maker. Hideki had been able to get a very good price for it and he wanted Naruto to have it. The man was so impressed that a young boy wanted to learn how to forge weapons that he donated some of his very own equipment to help Naruto in his weapon making. Anko couldn't help it, but she had to smile as she thought about how Naruto would react to such a gift. He would be very happy, no doubt about it. She thanked him very much and asked that he would that the old weapon maker in hers and Naruto's name. He nodded and told her that would do just that. After that she remembered that she had a gift to deliver and took the small package out of her backpack. Hideki opened the package and took out one of the knives. He was very impressed with the knives and told Anko to tell Naruto how much he liked them. After spending the rest of the afternoon with Kurenai, silently cursing one of her students for being very loud and annoying, she went back to the forest. She liked the village, but she liked the tranquility of the forest much better. She felt good in the middle of nature and liked the small place in the forest she started to call home after these past 2 months. Naruto for his part had finished his necessary training for the day around noon, so he had the rest of the afternoon to read up on seals. He had an idea in the back of his head that he wanted to try out. He had skipped through the book last night and had found something called a blood seal that he immediately liked. A seal that would offer protection to his scrolls so only he, or his descendants, could open them seemed a very nice option. If he wanted to start his own clan weapons and jutsus, he would need a way to protect those secrets, so a blood seal protection sounded very useful. After several tries he succeeded in placing the seal on one of his storage scrolls. Happy about his success, he applied the seal to all the storage scrolls he had made until now. Seeing that he still had lots of time before Anko would be back, he flipped through the book looking for something useful. Just when he was about to give up on finding something that he could do, since a lot of the seals still were out of his reach, a small note caught his eye. It was something that Yondaime had scribbled down between 2 chapters. The seal he described was a seal that would allow you to channel chakra into a weapon. The seal would place the weapon in a casing made of chakra. The casing would take the form and shape of the weapon and would have a very sharp edge which would make the weapon even sharper and stronger. Naruto thought it was like a chakra scalpel but on a weapon. He could see the use of such a thing. One effect of the chakra scalpel was that it cut like a hot knife through butter. Having such an edge on a weapon would lead to great damage on his enemies. He took out one of his throwing knives and started to engrave the seal into the blade. This took some time because he didn't want to make a mistake and ruin his knife. After about half an hour of very carefully engraving the seal, he finally finished it. He wondered what kind of damage his improved knife would do. Deciding that there's no time like the present, he went to the tree they had used for target practice. He struggled a bit to put the right amount of chakra into the seal. When he saw a blue glow appear around the knife just like the book said, he threw it at the target with all the strength he could muster. Keeping his eyes on the weapon, he almost fainted from pure excitement when he saw the knife fell through the tree and embed itself into the tree behind it. He stood there shocked at what he had seen, his mind trying to grasp the possibilities that opened up to him thanks to this seal and already thinking about engraving the rest of his knives. He went over to the target tree and saw that the knife just went through it like it wasn't there. He collected his knife and saw that the chakra casing had disappeared. He reasoned that the casing probably disappeared when the knife went through the first tree. After that, it was just a normal throwing knife. Anko arrived soon after, finding Naruto grinning like a madman engraving something into his knives. The look in his eyes was one of pure excitement and pride. Seeing he was busy doing some detailed work, she decided not to disturb him until he put down the knives. Some minutes later he looked up and greeted Anko with a huge smile. "Hey Naruto, everything all right? What has gotten you in such a good mood?" Anko asked, a little concerned. "Anko-sensei, watch this," was all that Naruto said. He went over to the tree with Anko following him. He channeled some chakra into the knife and threw it towards the tree. When Anko saw the knife going through the tree, she dropped the scroll she had been holding. Looking shocked and hardly believing what she had just seen, she managed to ask Naruto how the hell he did that. So Naruto started explaining about applying the blood seal to his storage scroll and find the seal for the weapon in the book. He told her that he had tried it on one knife, and when he saw the results he promptly started to engrave the seal into his other knives. He did that in just one day. Damn, the Gaki is getting better and better with seals. What else will he come up with? Oh man, I can't wait to see all those jerks at the academy when they see how talented Naruto really is. That's going to be a sight to behold. Anko thought with a smile. She told Naruto that he had found an amazing thing and surpassed her expectations once again. She then told him to gather all his stuff and then they would eat dinner inside the cave. She was a little nervous about showing him the scroll she received from the Hokage. She could tell from his body language that the old man was a little afraid of how Naruto would react. Since Naruto was in such a good mood, she didn't to cause him grief if she could help it. But she had promised to give the scroll tonight and she would keep that promise. After dinner she told him about the scroll she had for him. She told him it was addressed to him from Yondaime and that he would only be able to read it if he was strong enough. She said he could try and see if he could open once every week starting tonight. She also told him that she promised Sandaime that she would stay with him and that he asked her to read the scroll with him. Naruto nodded and said that he would try to open it. He let a drop of blood fall on the seal and the scroll glowed red, showing that the blood protection was lifted. He then channeled some chakra into the scroll and to his and Anko surprise the scroll opened up, showing that he was ready to read the words Yondaime had written. With shaking hands Naruto grabbed the scroll and put it on his lap. Anko sat down next to him and put her arm around his shoulder, showing her support. Together they started to read. Dear Naruto, I'm writing this scroll knowing that this would be the only thing I would be able to leave you. This is without a doubt the most painful thing I had ever had to do. On this very moment Kyuubi is attacking the outer limits of the village and as Hokage I have to fight and protect the ones I love. I also know that this will be my last fight. Kyuubi cannot be defeated like any other enemy. Kyuubi is a demon and so many times stronger than a shinobi, even a shinobi as strong as myself. Knowing this I started searching for another way to defeat it and I believe I have found it. But this solution come with a great cost, a cost of a human life. If it would have been my life it would have gladly given it, but unfortunately this is not the case. While I will fighting the Kyuubi it's your life I have to and for that I'm so very sorry. I'm going to seal the demon inside your body, making you a prison for him. You will the one who will save our village every day of your life. You will stop him from destroying everything and everyone we love. You will be a hero amongst heroes, but by doing this I know that I'm sentencing you to a very hard life and for that I apologize once more. Know that I have the utmost confidence in you. I know that you will be able to do what I am not. Defeating Kyuubi and protecting our village and loved ones. I'm sure you're wondering why I chose you. Well, the reason is simple but also complicated at the same time. The truth is that you're my son, you are the son of Namikaze Minato and Uzumaki Kushina. I can only imagine how you must feel right now. Know that I had no choice than to choose you, my son. You're the only one I would trust for such a job. I understand if you're mad at me and maybe even hate me. The reason nobody told you about us is that I had a large number of enemies inside and outside of Konoha. I was responsible for the death of a large number of Iwa shinobi during the war and they have always been very hostile towards me after the war. If they knew I had a son they would have sent assassins to KU and I couldn't let that happen to my only son. I'm very sorry to say that your mother died during labor, which is not your fault, so don't even think such a thing. Your mother was very sick at the end of her pregnancy and her weakened heart couldn't handle the stress of giving birth. But know that she loved more than life itself. She held you in her arms for a brief moment and I had never seen her so happy in all the time I have known her. She would always talk about you and the things she would teach you when you were older. As for me, I have never been more proud than the moment I held you in my arms for the first time. I knew right there and then that you would be the greatest shinobi ever. I have loved you since the moment your mom and I knew she was pregnant and I loved you more and more each passing day. I'm so proud to be your dad and I love you very much. Never forget that. Inside this scroll are several of my original jutsus that I have made and that made me the man I am today. This is my legacy for you, Naruto. The Namikaze clan is not a big or famous clan like the Uchiha or the Hyuga, so we're not rich and we don't own a large estate, but we were always happy with what we had and more importantly we had love. Make sure you find someone to love, my son, because love will enable you to become truly strong. Well, I guess this is it. There were so many things your mother and I wanted to teach you. We wanted to see you grow up happily and find love so you could give us some grandchildren to spoil. So as your parents we give you a mission. The mission is to get as strong as you can, find a lovely wife and raise at least 2 children on which you can pass our legacy on to. This is our mission to you. With all our love, Mom and Dad. When Naruto and Anko finished reading the letter both had tears in their eyes, both very moved by such a beautiful letter which had such a sad contents. Naruto couldn't stop the tears from falling and his shoulders started to shake from the emotions and feelings that were going through his head. Anko felt him tearing up and on the spur of the moment embraced him in a tight hug, letting him know that it was okay to cry on her shoulder. And so Naruto broke down. For the first time in years he cried. He cried for his mom and dad, he cried that they SD without knowing their son, he cried for himself because fate didn't allow him to know his parents, he cried because of the loneliness he had known for years. Anko held him in her arms telling him to let it out while she spoke soft words of support. She was amazed at the boy's, no not boy, this young man's past and that he was the son of the biggest hero Konoha had ever known. Briefly she wondered why she hadn't noticed it before, she remembered the picture that hung in the Hokage Tower and Naruto really was the spitting image of his dad. They looked like father and son, maybe she needed glasses because the resemblance was staggering. She felt Naruto calm down and when she looked at him she found him asleep on her shoulder tired from all the crying he had done. She smiled and moved him so he could sleep comfortably, she gave him a small kiss on the forehead and went to sleep herself. That will be all for this video, be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment down below for more videos, goodbye.